Alright guys, so we're back. We have switched our camera angle. We are directly above my head now. And we're going to add our sign. So for this sign, I'm going to add 4 Chanel stems to every hole. The look doesn't really make me happy, but it's kind of what you have to do when you use license plate. There is another method of using some sticky items that you put on the back, but my fear is that the sign's going to get hot in the heat and it's going to peel off. So I'd rather just attach it to where I know it's not going to fall off. Football season, August through Thanksgiving, I guess. I'm not a football person, y'all. It's hot in Louisiana. It's actually kind of warm in here. Let me see if the air conditioner's on. Could also just be the added heat lamps that are above my head. I'm gonna get a sunburn on my head today. Alright, so I looked around the wreath, and this spot over here looks the flattest. So I'm gonna add my sign right up here. And today I want to add my sign up here, and I'm gonna decorate down here. So I'm just weaving the pipe cleaners through the mesh until we get all the way through, and then I'm going to attach it to the wire frame below it. I just give it a few little wraps to hold it in place. Just because I don't know if it's a permanent position, if I have to move it a little bit later. Of course, before you send it off to its new home, you want to make sure you tighten up all the stuff in the back, clean it up, maybe add a few dabs of hot glue to every twist tie to make sure it stays in place. Alright, so we have this done. I really don't like how you can see the twist ties, but I'd rather know that it's on there and not going to fall off versus my personal preference on what it looks like. So I think we should make our bow next, because the bow placement is going to determine everything else. I'm using my large ProBow today. Well, not my large, my ultimate. I call it my large one because my other one's really small. Let's move this out of the way a little bit. We will not be doing a terry bow for this one. for this bow, I'm going to need 4 rolls of ribbon. Almost lost that one. Let's see if we can zoom in on what's going on the board. I'm going to move my pegs to F. Let's go to E. I'm only using 4 ribbons, but we are going to have 5 loops. We don't need the 3 center pegs. So if you have large ProBow, you're working on row D. I am going to cut 2 pieces of wire, both 24 inches wide, or long, sorry. Now I'm going to wire this kind of like I do my terry bow. Maybe. I'm putting each one of these on my spool holder. So in this one I use 3 1.5 inch and 1 2.5 inch. So to start it, we need to take our 3 1.5 inch ribbons, and make sure they're layered right on top of each other. Then you're going to come back about 1 inch and pinch down, just like that. See if I can zoom in any closer just on this. Alright, so as you can see, all 3 are layered right on top of each other. Looks like 1 ribbon. I pinched it, I fold it over, and now where I pinched it, all I do is wrap one of these wires around it. Just a few times, pull it tight. That's it. So our wire's here. We have one coming out the top, one coming out the bottom. Our pegs, you really can't see the pegs. Hang on, let me fix that. See if this helps. I don't think that helped anything. I need to paint the tops of my pegs a bright color so you guys can see them. Alright, so pegs are in row E, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, left side and right side. Alright, so the very first pull, all of our ribbons need to be lined up, nice and neat. Try to keep them all close to the table and flush, that way whenever you pull them, they just unroll and you get a straight line. So we're going to wrap it around this peg here, bring it around, and now where our wire was, we want that to be flush on the back side. Kind of pinch both sides around. Take your top wire, wrap it around that center peg a few times. Take your bottom wire and wrap it around the nail. Now back from this side, I really want to add a second wire in this one because the last time I did it, the wire broke. So I'm going to go ahead and add another wire right in here. And I'm going to pull it on this side of the peg. So I brought it in this way on this side. And I'm going to treat it just like a terry bow, so there's some extra support. In case one of the wire breaks, the whole bow won't fall apart. Alright, so now we're secure, we have our extra wire in place. Now the flow is going to be this. Wrap it around here, twist it so the pretty side's up, and come back around this peg. Alright, so where we're at, we're going to pinch it. Twist. And bring it up to the other side and wrap it around. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and twist my wire here, just so it all stays in place. Just like you would a terry bow after every twist. We're going to bring it back, pinch, twist, bring it up to the top. And we're just going to follow this motion down 4 pegs. Just the 3 pegs, sorry. Alright, this is the last twist over on this side. And I'm going to pull this over here out of the way, just because we may want to use this for some tails later. Alright, so the next piece, we're going to treat this one just like a terry bow. So I dovetailed it. I'm going to measure it from the peg to the outside peg. I'm going to pinch it. And I'm going to add it right inside. So the pinch is lined up directly with the green wire. Bring it around the right side, back to the center, pinch it, twist it, over here on the left side, pinch it, twist it. So that twist is to make sure the pretty side of the ribbon is always facing up. We're going to go ahead and secure this in place. We're going to dovetail it. Now with that same ribbon, we're going to dovetail it again. Measure it from the peg to the outside peg. And we wrapped it around, pinched it, twist it. Wrap it around the other side. Pinch it, twist it, pull the tail over, twist it off. Now we're going to untie the bottom wire, the top wire, those two wires I'm now going to pull as tight as I can to tighten up the bow and twist it off. Now I'm going to twist all 4 wires together. I'm going to go ahead and cut this tail even with the tails that we did for the terry bow. Cut this one at the peg. Now we need to remove this from here, and we're going to need our fluff box, which is over here. Alright, so for our fluff box, we're going to wrap it around the hook and around the nail to where it's nice and secure. Now because this bow is a hybrid of 2 different ones, we have to treat it just like that. So we're going to fluff out the bottom ribbons first, pull a loop and a tail to each side, the next one same way, a tail over here, a loop over here. But now I want to start working from the top. So this is our base. Now we're going to go from the top. I'm going to pull the three 1.5 inch ribbons apart. I pull it all the way out to the side, and I like to twist it. That way you're looking at the side of the ribbon. Same thing on this side. Now on the next one, I want to make sure I pull it in a different direction. That way we don't have the same 3 ribbons right next to each other. So this time I'm going to pull the brown dots over there, the football in the center, and then the rustic full ball out to the side. The next one, once again, we want to alternate the ribbon, so the football will go all the way out to the right, or that's my left, y'all's right, I believe. Antique football in the center, polka dots out to the side. Then once you get these on the wreath, you will arrange them some more. And now that you're at the bottom, you can pretty much go back to the very top one and see what you did. I'm going to rotate this around. keep following the same direction where nothing goes the same way as the one above it. Alright, so here is my combination bow. Zoom out so you guys can see that a little bit better. It's very airy, very fluffy. It's going to look really cool at the bottom of that wreath. Alright, so we're going to take that off. See if we can get our wreath over here and add this bow right onto it. Alright, so when I'm looking at the wreath, I'm thinking I want its fall play ball kind of at an angle. The door hanger would be here. This bow needs to be right down here. Right centered with the sign at an angle. All I'm doing is pulling the wire around the mesh. Pulling it tightly to secure it in place and wrapping it around the wire frame. Now I think we should make 2 more of these, slightly smaller, for each side of the bow. One here, one here. So I'm going to pull all the way into row C. And I'm going to lose the bottom 2 pegs, I believe. Alright, so we need 2 24-inch wires again. Alright, so to start, we have our 3 ribbons laid identical on top of each other, so it looks like one. We go back about 1 inch, fold it, so we get a nice crease. Now we pinch that crease in place, take one of our wires, wrap it around, make sure it's nice and tight. Alright, now At this point, we wrap it around the first peg. Pinch it around the peg. So it looks like this. I have the ribbon pinched on the other side. The green wire is directly in the center of this side. And we just tie it off. Alright, we're going to add our second wire right in here. Alright, so let's start. We take our ribbon tail, all three together, pull tight, line it up, pinch it, twist it, and wrap it around the other side. You got to keep all three ribbons as straight as possible. I'm going to twist it off after every double cross. Does anyone else struggle to get into the football wreath? Because I am. I know it's what needs to be made right now. I know it's what sells right now. I just don't like them, y'all. This is the last loop. All three layered, pinch, twist, wrap it around. The smaller boat is harder because there's not enough room to operate here. So we're pinching it, twisting it, pulling it out. We can go ahead and trim these tails since we did that a while ago. Now we're just going to do one lap with a 2.5 inch. We're measuring from the peg to C. Alright, let's get these wires off, tighten it up, and get it on the fluff box, y'all. might have went too small. The joy of not making this wreath before trying to show you guys. Alright, so we're going to start on the bottom. A nice little crisscross down there. And now we're going to start at the top. Because we added all those wires, we can pull this bow and twist it around however we need. It's not going to come apart. Remember, what we don't want to do is have the same ribbons right next to each other. We definitely don't want this ribbon to be upside down, y'all. Alright, one more row down here, and it's going to mimic the top one, I believe. Let's see. Alright, let's see my box turn around. Do the same thing here. Somehow this ribbon got turned inside out, but it's always easy to fix that. Alright, let's get this off the fluff box and get on the wreath so we can finish straighten it out a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to add these directly underneath each corner of the sign. With the three little tails sticking from the 1.5 inch ribbon sticking out this way, I believe. So right in here. Once again, we're going around the wireframe, through the mesh, around the wireframe to hold it in place. The three little tails from the 1.5 inch ribbon are out to the side. And I'm just wrapping it around the frame a few times to hold it in place for now. Of course, I had my arm all up in this bow while I was trying to attach the other one, so that's not good for business. Alright, let's see where we're at so far. I'm liking it. We need another one on this side. Alright, step number 1. Cut our 3 wires. Alright, got those folded in half. We need to layer our 3 1.5 inches on top of each other. So I like to pull them relatively tight back onto the spools. Alright, so our first measurement is the 1 inch from the end, and all we're doing there is folding it pinching it and adding our wire. Alright, now we're going to first start our first motion, and all that is pulling it, wrapping around the first peg, bringing it back down to the center peg, pinching it around, adding our wire, and then tucking this wire out of the way so we can add our second wire. I will tell y'all that it felt a lot more secure, and I wasn't afraid that the bow was going to break having this extra wire in there. That wire is cheap, definitely cheap enough to make sure our bow is secure by using more of it. Alright, so here we go. We're pinching and twisting. It does kind of stop the flow of things to tighten that wire, but I'd rather stop the flow than have a customer call me and say, hey, I have 50 yards of ribbon laying across my porch without and no bow. This time our ribbon did not get twisted, so that's good. Alright, now we're going to do our one loop with our 2.5 inch. I always start these with a dovetail, measuring from center peg to C, pinching it in the center, Alright, let's get this off and get on the Fluff Box. Gotta get a drink, y'all. Alright. Tail on the bottom. Now we go to the top. This one just wants to be the center of attention. Pulling this out to the side and twisting it. Alright, we have some tails down here. Let's get those. Swap our board around. The order does not matter. I just try to keep them not being side by side anywhere. And they will probably get tugged around and rearranged once they're back on the wreath. So that's just how I do it. Because you can't really see it until it's up there, hanging on. Alright, so we want this one to be directly across from that one. Same little 1.5 inch tails sticking out the side. Some of you guys are probably wondering where the ribbon tails are, because I'm adding bows without ribbon tails, but you'll see in just a few minutes. We have not forgotten them. Alright. I think we're going to stop here and come back and add our ribbon tails.